good friends. Welcome to another episode of Between the Sets.
We welcome you to us.
We welcome you with open, dice-throwing arms. This song is called Modern Standards, and you two guys start.
Give me a 7 count.
I'm stricken with the sickness of the world today. It's contagious, makes me sick to my stomach when I think of it. When I breathe all this in, I just regurgitate. This obsession with succession never mattered much to me, 'cause I know I can live up to modern standards. We just got one shot, let's not waste it in this altercation. We are all a compost pile. Fight your way up to the top. You become the king of trash and then you die. I guess there's method to the madness. Look at what you got. With all of your possessions, close the blinds and give confessions. Slick your hair back, fix your tie, and head on down the line. And that's gotta be depressing, the kind of life you're living. 'Cause I know I can live up to modern standards. We just got one shot, let's not waste it in this altercation. We are all a compost pile. Fight your way up to the top. You become the king of trash and then you die. I can live up to modern standards. We just got one shot, don't let it slip away. We are all a compost pile. Fight your way up to the top. You become the king of trash and then you die.
Song 1 in the bag. So Brandon is a new father. We haven't talked about any of this. We all have kids now, and Brandon just had his first kid. Well, his wife technically had the first kid, but
had it.
he got to impregnate her, which is always good.
Yes, I did.
And your kid's a little young so far, so you haven't dove into the world of children's cartoons too much yet, unless you've been doing your research as an adult.
I watch a lot of children's cartoons.
As it is?
Yeah.
You know, a great cartoon that's actually fun for adults is motherfucking Phineas and Ferb. And I was telling Brandon about Phineas and Ferb the other day. It is a genius show. Great music, great storylines. The whole Perry the Platypus versus Doofenshmirtz thing. Have you actually watched?
I've never watched this show.
It's ridiculously funny, like
awesome.
crazy funny. If it was just about Phineas and Ferb, it'd be a fun little kid show. But the fact that there's this whole side, basically,
isn't the platypus like a secret agent or something?
The whole show is about how there's these two boys that are like geniuses, and they build these incredible, crazy inventions all the time. And it's just for their summer vacation. That's the whole plot of every single episode. They're always trying to build some new thing. Their sister's trying to get them in trouble for it. Huh. But in the background, there's this secret organization called AUKA, which means Organization Without a Cool Acronym, which is a bunch of animals. They're real animals. They can't talk. They're like anthropomorphic, but like none of them can talk or do anything, but they're all secret agents and they wear fedoras and shit. Awesome. And they all have their assigned bad guys, these villains that they fight with. and Perry the Platypus fights this guy named Doofenshmirtz, and it is ridiculous. Like, it's stuff no kid would ever find funny. Like, they put it in there just for the parents watching. Like, there's a lot of jokes about how Doofenshmirtz is, like, divorced and his wife pays him alimony. I'm like, what 8-year-old kid watching this show is going to understand that joke?
I'm pumped about that name, Doofenshmirtz.
Doofenshmirtz. Oh, wait till you got to watch some episodes.
I'll check it out.
You should preemptively watch some.
Check it out.
Watch yourself some Phineas and Ferb. It's a good watch. It really is.
I need to be entertained too.
Yes.
It's not all about
and
the kids.
Timu Mizumi, motherfucker, is not going to do it for you.
Yeah, no,
oh my god.
I don't know what that is.
No,
Although
you
I have
will.
noticed
You will.
all these kids shows now, all these new kids shows, they all have punk. Have you noticed? All the songs are all punk. Like, they always have these pop punky kind of, or like ska, or like a little bit of reggae kind of thing, and it's all because it's all old assholes like us who are doing the sound for the shows. Like,
That's cool.
yeah, if I got hired on
not
to be the sound tech on some show, I'd
I'm
totally
not
play
old like
punk
you
rock.
guys.
I got one.
What's that?
It's probably too old for Brandon.
No.
Did you ever watch Rocco's Modern Life on Nickelodeon?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
It was about the wallaby.
Okay.
and
They worked on a sex hotline?
Yes! Watched that show for years. Didn't even realize it until I was watching it like a year ago. And
we have
and then
all
he's got like his neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Bighead, who were always being weird in their house.
Yeah.
And then his buddy Heifer, who was raised by wolves. It was like an 800-pound cow who was adopted by a pack of wolves. It was great. I mean, the show, like, as a child was hilarious, but as an adult, you realize he's just like a lonely single guy with probably like some major depressive issues.
And he actually works at a sex hotline?
Yes, but as a child, you don't know that. You think he just answers
That's really
phones.
part of the show?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
They don't ever like really mention it, but it's inclined because he talks about like what he's wearing
Yeah.
and all this other kind of. Yeah, exactly.
It's gold. It was too easy to go with like Ren and Stimpy, but that's too much.
man.
But
Well,
like,
no, yeah, there's certain. I should have made better stipulations. Like, it has to be like an actual kids show. Like,
started out
I
as
would
a
have
kid's
said,
show on
I would have said
Nickelodeon.
Johnny Bravo or like Powerpuff Girls if we're gonna go down that route. I'm saying like an actual kids show. That's
Rocco's
really
Modern
funny.
Life will go down in the annals of history as a
The
classic.
anals. If histottery.
And if you get real frisky, look up the Doodle Bops, because I've been to a Doodle Bop concert.
Did you get?
No, I know all
Oh,
about the Doodle
man.
Bops.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up is there's been a few times where we're scrolling through Netflix and she just sees an image of Barney goes by and Reagan's like, "Can I watch that?" And we're like, "No, good Lord, no!" Like that was around when we were like teenagers and we were annoyed back then. I'm like, I'm not letting that enter my life now. That is not happening.
I can't deal
Did
with that
someone
twice.
open my third beer?
It was the Beer Fairy.
Where'd she go?
Oh, man. It's a good thing it's a short set tonight.
Yeah. Mine is Angry Beavers.
Have not seen it.
Oh man,
A little bit of that. Yeah.
So good.
Well, I always hear stuff about. There's a couple of really like Adventure Time and what's that? There's a couple other really super popular shows for adults. Regular show, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
one's
we
actually
could
kind of
say My Little Pony, but we're not even going to talk about that
gonna
nonsense right
Don't
now.
get Lee started.
Unfortunately, my daughter actually does watch My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
I'm gonna do a rant real quick, just in the sense that like it just doesn't make sense. Like people, I know people that I respect that have said, "No, dude, it's really a good show. You just got to watch blah blah blah. Watch this one season, you'll totally get it." I've watched a lot of episodes sitting there with my daughter. I've seen a ton of episodes. Not a good show. Not a good show.
You're
It
not
is a
like
show for
wearing
little girls.
Fluttershy t-shirts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could have just look at it, and I'm not going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
think
Well,
my
you'd
kid
say
went
the
through
same
a
thing
My
about
Little Pony
Powerpuff Girls,
phase.
probably, and Powerpuff Girls is a great show.
I don't know, man. Powerpuff Girls.
They look real similar if you think about it.
Why not? We'll agree to agree.
Ready? Remember, all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I feel like life just won't give me a break. I keep falling on my face with every step I take. There's only one place that can make this anger fade. Tired of looking on the
bright side, and I'm sick of making lemonade. Nothing that I can't fix with a bag of picks. A center string stick, heavy grade. When the kids start coming, I'll start strumming on my Gibson Les Paul made. Gonna head downtown, gonna make my rounds to a place where dreams come true. I'm going to the Arctic bar, gonna play my guitar, gonna drink that Happy Bear brew. When you're down and depressed, morose melancholy, just shut your whiny trap and take it from me. There's a little place I'd go when I'm filled with that buffet. When life is the pits, then just say fuck it, cause the next round is on me. Nothing that I can't fix with a bag of picks. A set of strings, thick, heavy, great. When the kids start coming, I'll start strumming on my Gibson Les Paul made. Gonna head downtown, gonna make my rounds to a place where dreams come true. I'm going to the Arctic bar, gonna play my guitar, gonna drink that Happy Bear brew. Alright! Nothing that I can't fix with a bag of picks. A set of strings, thick, heavy, great. When the kids start coming, I'll start strumming on my Gibson Les Paul made. Gonna head downtown, gonna make my rounds to a place where dreams come true. I'm going to the Arctic bar, gonna play my guitar, gonna drink that Happy Bear brew. Going to the Arctic bar, gonna play my guitar, gonna drink that Happy Bear brew.
God bless Paula and Kara and everybody down at the Arctic, and hopefully they'll let us play live there again very soon.
Oh,
Thank
man,
you,
she
the
keeps
Arctic.
telling me that I need to go down and talk to her.
Yeah. One
And
of
then
the
I'm
few
gonna come down and
gigs
talk to her.
on this rock we call Ketchikan, Alaska. You know what's awesome is how quickly the word bay disappeared. Those dumb, vocal trend things that come up every now and then. Every once in a while, there's these new things that come out, and they usually are real subtle. They kind of bubble up. The youth, the young kids kind of say them for a while, and they slowly build their way up into the pop culture references. Till everyone's like, oh, we say fleek now, or whatever, whatever dumb
still
thing.
don't know what that means.
Bay, people brought it up, and universally, people were just like, no. Like, hey, Bay, and everyone's like, what? Bay, like babe? Yeah, babe. You mean just one less letter and the same amount of syllables?
Put another B in there.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's like Bay. No. And then pretty much the world spoke, and we're like, no Bay.
Absolutely not.
I'm okay with Nove.
Yeah.
The other one like that just grated on me was brah.
Brah. Well, people still kind of say that.
And I still hate those people.
That's one of those weird ones that's kind of hanging on. Well,
Brah?
now
I say
there's the
brow.
variation of breh.
Yeah, brah.
Come on, breh. You want to go breh? Breh? Breh?
Free range puka shells.
What's
bro.
best is when people
Yes,
write it in
That's
text.
the guy.
Yeah,
When people write it in text, they're trying to be tough. Like, you want to go breh? Breh? You want to talk some
Is
shit?
that like
breh?
BREH?
Breh? It sounds like a
Two
burp
H's.
ish. If you were gonna
It's
onomatopoeia.
like an onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say brow. B-R-A-U.
Brow.
It sounds German.
I was gonna say that's a beer, isn't it?
I
Isn't
say
there a
Obergrubenführer.
Lowenbrow or something?
Frau.
Brow.
Frau
Brow.
brow.
Brow. I think there's a beer brow. It sounds very German. I'd drink it.
Brat.
Yeah. Come on, brat.
Bra.
You want to go? You want to go, brat?
Show me them brats, brah.
So what's a guilty pleasure movie for you guys?
Oh, The Labyrinth.
That's not everybody loves that movie though. That's not a guilty pleasure. That's
Dude.
not a good one.
That movie made me fall in love with David Bowie.
Over and over
For sure.
again.
Like, I don't mean I didn't already know who he was. That was the first time I saw him. But I saw that cod piece and I
Totally.
thought that was his D. I was like, that guy is a man.
It's
He
David
didn't-
Bowie.
he
Maybe
didn't
it
wear a
is.
cod piece.
It
was David Bowie.
His
Diamond
dick is the
encrusted
shape of a
titanium
Nerf football.
It's 8 inches
They just cut one in
around.
half.
It's like a salad bowl.
You know, a guilty pleasure movie for me is Dune, the old goofy Dune movie.
I've never seen it.
Oh man, it's a universally hated movie as far as I know. That's a movie that I can watch. I don't know what it is.
I
Something
just know
about
they're
it's
looking
super
for
watchable to me.
spice.
I watched that
Get the
and
spice.
Logan's Run.
Oh yeah, Logan's Run was good. I guess if I'm not gonna cheap out with Labyrinth. Beetlejuice.
No, everybody loves that one too.
Damn it!
I
These
hate
aren't
that
guilty
movie.
pleasures.
Ah, see, he
I hate
hates
that
it.
movie.
Irrelevant. People still love it though.
I love Michael Keaton in that movie, but
Yeah.
I hate that movie.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't think I've actually ever seen the entire Beetlejuice.
Oh, it's so good.
I grew up
Tracy
super
hates
religious, also like Brandon. So there's a lot of weird movies that I missed, like The Goonies and Ghostbusters and The
Goonies is a good one.
Shining. and-
Goonies, like Anthony and I were watching that several years ago. First time I think he's ever seen it. I've seen it a million times.
Right.
Never got the one-eyed Willie joke.
Even I know about that. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we were just watching. Like I knew, like, oh yeah, there's one-eyed Willie's treasure, and then we just kind of looked at each other. Like, one-eyed Willie, it's a pee-pee.
And no, the kid in that movie isn't Glenn from The Walking Dead.
No,
you
he's
racist
not.
bastards.
No, he's not. Pricks. Data.
That doesn't even make sense. He's not the right age, right? Like that kid would be older.
Oh, that
than
kid's like in his
Glenn.
50s now. I
Yeah,
think.
that kid would be way older because
I was
he was
super
like
sad.
13 in The Goonies in like 1983 or whenever that was.
So that house, their house, the Goonie house, is in Astoria, Oregon. And you used to be able to drive up there and like go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Not go in it, but the people that owned it were pretty nice, I guess. Well, I guess they got new owners, and the new owners were like, no, fuck that. You people need to leave.
Yeah.
So now you can't go hang out like and take pictures in front of the house anymore without pissing off the people that own it.
Seems
I
like
guess.
they need a visit from insert Goonies reference here because I have never seen the movie.
Sloth and Chunk.
Okay.
Sloth, love,
There we go.
Chunk.
Mine is Krull for sure.
I can't say that
Never
I've
saw
seen
that.
it, but I have heard rumblings of,
Oh,
of
man.
it being a great movie,
And
like a
it's-
Conan ripoff kind
Oh,
of.
dude, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Conan, Star Wars, Pirates. I don't know, like all of it is in there.
Yeah.
And it's so He-Man. I mean, it's
Oh, that's
Which-
a good
which
one. with
He-Man
Dolph
was terrible in
Lundgren.
the fucking
dude.
first
No way.
place. Oh, man.
No way.
Daddy.
Dolph Lundgren and that crazy dude that played Skeletor,
Yeah.
who still says that is one of his favorite roles of all time. I was reading an article on him the other day. He said that was his favorite role
That's
of
awesome.
all time. Now, why He-Man all of a sudden had like laser guns instead of his sweet-ass sword all of a sudden, and like Skeletor found fucking stormtroopers.
And like Courtney Cox was
Yeah,
in
Courtney
there
Cox
for some
was in
reason.
it.
But yeah, check out Krull.
Yeah.
For sure. Everyone
I'll watch Krull if you watch He-Man.
Another
I've watched He-Man. I
Oh,
love
fair
He-Man.
enough.
Another one I'd like to throw out there is Pacific Rim. That's another
Oh,
one
dude.
that
Oh,
I.
Making
super
a
good
new one.
movie.
It's a really dumb movie though. Really, really
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
When you really get to horrible acting.
It's robots
really bad
fighting
acting.
monsters.
Really bad acting, but there's something about watching those robot fights, man. Like I could sit there
was
all,
so great.
and I actually skip the middle parts. I just
Yeah.
skip right to the battles. I'd like to watch I'm sure there's a cut out there that's just the fights.
That's a bigger new thing on YouTube. I don't know how new
What's
it
that
is.
guy's name? He played the general in that.
Idris Elba.
Yeah, he
that
did
guy is
the
cool.
Dark Tower.
Yeah,
and-
Dark
He
Tower
was great in The
actually pretty
Office.
good. Yeah.
I liked it.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be
I
that
forgot
guy
he
that
was
was
in
like
that.
Charles.
It was the hour and a half movie was nothing like the 8-book series
Well,
though.
what I liked is like, 'cause, it just came out, and
Right.
more Stephen King, but they actually show the monster that it is with the orange and all the tentacles and stuff when they're looking.
Oh,
into
in
Dark Tower.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So
yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, oh dang, there he is.
The one you
knew?
need to go watch because I can't figure out what the hell why I like it so much was that new The Shape of Water. Or as people have lovingly referred to it as Grinding Nemo.
Yeah, I know it's some kind of bestiality.
It's weird. It's like
It's terrible.
it's like a mute lady falls in love with a fish guy
Yeah.
and they live happily ever after.
Mark Osborne, who, of course, anybody watching this stream who's from Ketchikan, of course, knows Mark. But I remember he was one of the first people. Like, he went and saw Pacific Rim, and I saw him, like, the very next day, and he's like, what a piece of shit. Like, he hated it. He hated the movie.
Verbatim.
Yeah.
We're quoting you.
Quote Mark, it'll be
Yeah.
in the annotated
Let's play a song.
bibliography.
You guys want? Okay.
We got a little ditty called Pocket Aces, another song from back when we could drink ridiculous amounts of alcohol. Who would want to?
Not anymore.
I don't even want to do that anymore. Jameson right over there. I spend all my time working to survive. But there is just one thing
that makes me feel alive. Get back to the house party, just a couple of cakes and a shot of BV. Party, party. We got the games gonna get you messed up. Got the dice and towel and a plastic cup. Party, party. I drive home every night, blinded by headlights. And my friends by my side, and I can feel alright. It's a time you won't forget, those things I can't regret. When you roll those double threes, it's a cold look on their faces. When you pull those pocket aces, when you roll that 1 and 2. When you hit that last fuck you, back to the house party, just a couple of cakes and a shot of BV. Party, party. We got the games gonna get you messed up. Got the dice and towel and a plastic cup. Party, party. Just a couple of cakes and a shot of BV. Party, party. Got it for the basement. Ha, ha. And a plastic cup. Party, party. Sing it out loud. Gotta get back to the house party with a couple of cakes and a shot of BV. Party, party. We got the games gonna get you messed up. Got the dice and towel and a plastic cup. Party!
Yay! That's the song I forgot the words on.
It's because you're getting old.
I knew all the words and I don't even sing.
Maybe you should sing next time, drummer man.
I don't sing. You guys.
Tell you what, tonight was definitely the night to wear a knit stocking cap.
I've been wondering about that. And you're the largest person, so I was really wondering.
I'm trying to sweat it out.
Yeah. We should do a stream where we all wear the bags.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. We'd probably die. Like, one of us would probably die, I think.
Yeah,
I have a pretty good idea who would die first. It's just a feeling I have.
Yeah.
I'd have to pull out the kit with my stints in it.
The stints and the hammer and chisel to jam it into your chest.
That's a reference to another episode.
You're going to have to watch it
That's
to
what they
figure it
call
out.
meta.
Yeah,
where
we're
you're
meta
referencing
now.
stuff inward, yeah.
Backlog.
Check.
Paddle.
Since we're a band, we wanted to dump our musical tastes onto our viewers. So really quickly, we all kind of came up with a band that nobody knows about, but that you should know about. I'll talk about mine first. And mine is the 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster. That is right. Lee has the graphic up. That's their album. They're a band from England, I believe. Kind of a weird rockabilly gothic, like they're kind of goofy, like horror movie music kind of. They got that scary kind of sound, but at the same time it's like funny. It's kind of goofy, funny music. It's not like Rob Zombie scary music. It's more like goofy carnival circus music is what it reminds me of.
Shaun of the Dead music.
Not really like goofy like ICP, not necessarily, no.
But they sound a little bit of like Dan Ziggy / the guy from
like
him.
Kind of
like
reminds
that vocal, like that real like vibrato.
Reminds me a little bit of like the Doors, stuff like that.
He'd be pissed if you called him Dan Ziggy.
Dan Ziggy.
I like that.
Dan Ziggy Stardust.
Whoa.
But
That's too
80,
far.
80s
That'd be
Matchbox,
awesome.
80s Matchbox, Beeline Disaster Friends.
That's
You
the
don't have to
one-
keep the graphic up the whole time.
That's the one you showed me, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
those
they,
guys rock. Seriously, those guys are awesome.
They have a song on the Shaun of the Dead soundtrack, and that's how I found out about them. It's that scene where Philip is turning into a zombie in the car. And, like, it's a really super emotional scene, and Sean's like, Mom, he's gone. And she's like, no, he hasn't. And they turn around, and he's like, ugh. And on the way out of the car, somebody bumps the radio, and it's the song Mr. Mental by 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster.
Hell yeah.
Are you dying for pleasure? Does it make you feel better?
Copyright strike.
Yeah. Oh, they're a weird, obscure band that I'm sure nobody's listening for their music to be played on YouTube.
YouTube is all.
And if anything, we're
I'm
promoting
gonna
them.
tell YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're promoting
keep
them.
us
Listen
kosher.
to them. They're awesome.
Listen to the 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster. Lunchbox,
Super
you.
Oh man, so there's this guy. His name's Pat the Bunny, and man, he was like homeless and drug addicty, and he started multiple bands. But the first one was Johnny Hobo and the Freight Trains, and it's full of like folk, punk, acoustic, self-deprecating awesomeness. And as he got like more shit together and more clean, then he started the Wingnut Dishwashers Union, and then he got real clean for a while and started Ramshackle Glory. And all three of them are fantastic bands. It's just like how much deprecating self-hate you want to listen to. you gotta like move between the three. And the further back you go, the more harsh it is. And like if you're like, man, I'm not that hardcore, then you start checking out like the Ramshackle Glory stuff where he's got more of a full band and he's a little happier.
You're big into that folk punk stuff.
Yeah, like all them dudes that are like homeless and riding the trains. Man, they have some great ass music.
I remember you showed me Leftover Crack way back in the day. That's crazy
they're
ass.
great people.
I basically like disagree with everything they stand for too, because they're like 100% like communists and like.
Well, yeah, they like took that squad over down in Soho and
Yeah.
turned it into like a big hippie/punk commune.
Yeah, I disagree with like everything they stand for, but I like their music.
Oh, it's so good.
They'd
So
probably
good.
say, we don't want you to like our music. But then I'd be like, haha, now I'm going to buy every single one of your albums
Every
and talk about it
album.
all the time.
I'm gonna
Not
pay
just-
double
not
for
just a
them.
copy of each
Capitalism!
one.
Woo!
All of their albums. Every copy that was ever printed. Tracy's a millionaire.
Yeah, he is.
I bought that album from Martin Scarelli, the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't even like the Wu-Tang Clan. I don't like
You
most
just bought
hip-hop.
it to have it?
Yeah.
So that no one
Because
else
he
can
could.
have it.
Yeah.
Tracy's richer than Martin.
The only
Scarelli.
hip-hop I like is MC Chris.
Yeah, but
Dude, MC
yeah, he's
Chris
in
is
jail
the
now,
man.
and he cried when he got arrested too.
MC
He's only
Chris is in
doing
jail?
7
Just kidding.
years. 7 years in like white collar jail.
Oh, that guy. I
Scarelli,
thought you were
yeah.
talking about, I thought you were talking about MC Chris. What? That's stupid and impossible.
What's your band?
Witch Ripper. They are a freaking epic band. If you like super sludgy, fuzzy, like crowbar shit, like Witch Ripper. If you listen to one song, listen to Space Debris.
I'm
That
going
is-
home and listening to it tonight.
It's super awesome. It's like if the dudes from Baroness, who is another really underrated band, Baroness and Mastodon, Neurosis, they all got together. and
Oh
just
man, I know
had it
2
out.
of those 3 bands.
Yeah. Then they would have this band as a baby, Witch Ripper, who's like, it's just fucking amazing.
I've heard some of it that you showed me. Yeah, I really liked it.
super good. But not as good as us.
3-man, Witch Ripper, same thing.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
We're just a Witch Ripper cover band, really, when you get down to it.
They play vaguely alternative
You could
90s
say
punk rock,
that
right?
You're a witch ripoff.
Oh! That's
They're
why
a
Lee makes the big bucks.
3-man ripoff. Witch Ripper was well. That's not true. 3-man's been a band since we have been a band a long time. We got that going for us. We can say, hey, we've been around since
We may
2004.
suck, but we have sucked a long time.
I wasn't
long
there.
time. Yeah,
I wasn't born yet.
I wasn't born yet.
These guys are old as hell.
Brandon was born at the age of 12. Like, he came out 12 years old.
12 years old.
Well,
There
with
was
a
an episode
beard.
of The Next Generation about a species where the people come out fully formed, like they come out as adults. I'm like,
That's gross.
so does the adult woman walk around with like a giant embryo sac just like
that'd
hanging
be
off of
great.
her with a human being in it? Like
I saw
this is
some
like-
movie where that happened.
Like
I see a scary ass silhouette, and I
Oh.
think it might be.
Who is it?
It might be our
It's
janitor.
somebody. It's oh.
We have a janitor because Tracy's rich.
Hey!
Oh, It's that guy.
No.
Come, you
When
got to
you're
come
rich-
stand right here at least so we
when
can
you're
see
rich,
you,
it's
Tony.
not a janitor, it's an au pair.
Buck Up Little
It's
Camper
Tony!
is another band that you should listen to. I can't believe I didn't even think of that one. Anthony's the singer for Buck Up Little Camper.
Yeah, he is.
It feels like a lifetime since.
It has been.
This is our last song. I think I wrote it when I was 23.
You were angry at the world.
There's nothing angry about this song. It's more just like, fuck my life.
You were angry at yourself.
I remember one day I was working out at this convenience store way out north, and my cousin Ricky, who also worked there, came in one day and he's like, I just watched Clerks again. Fuck my life. Because he's like, that's my whole life. I was watching the intro to the movie. I'm just like, great. Like, that's what I get to go do tomorrow at 5:30 in the morning.
Awesome.
Song's called Loser of the Year.
Wake up around noonish, eat week-old tuna fish. Head for that black box system, Lincoln beat down Rick and E-Rock. Watch some TV now, Holy Trilogy on DVD now. Call up old Georgie just to say hi, but he's never around. I go outside in my underwear to check my mail that isn't there from the people who don't care. I rarely shower and drink month-old beer. I hold my head up high cause I'm the loser of the year. I had a girl once and tons of friends, but now I'm by myself. They all went on to do better things, but I did bad in school. I'll be right here in this stupid town, and you'll see me around. I'll never amount to anything, but that's just fine with me. I'm the loser of the year. Don't you worry, I'm stuck right here, I'm in no hurry. I've got my Les Paul and my 112 amp and that's all I need. I've got no money, I'm so broke it's almost funny. I put my friends for cash, but like I said before, they're here no more. I never thought it would be this good, never thought I'd be this free. There are no people to bring me down, no responsibility. I'll be right here in this stupid town, and maybe if you're lucky, you just might see me around. I'll never amount to anything, but that's just fine with me. I'm the loser of the year.
That's all
Thanks
you
for
get.
watching,
That
everybody.
is all you get.
Give us money and buy our stuff.
Go buy our t-shirts, teespring.com. 3-man.
Yes. Ah, delicious.
Nothing like a good shill to end the podcast. It's always good to shill. Shilling.